You were fine with the frog shaving, but you draw the line at the elephant.
Why would you ever get goddamn cold brew?
No.
Before going into a little thing.
But when they first met, Victoria did not like him at all because he had horrific diarrhea and kept falling asleep.
Little warlock who could for girls. Ahoy! Welcome back to Girl Historians.
I'm Carley.
I'm Blair.
And this is the comedy podcast where we talk about history
and our girls.
Really,
Pretty powerful
one
combo.
Day the Women's Association of Historians is gonna get so fucking
No,
mad.
one day we're gonna get canceled. One day
that.
we're gonna get canceled. We're
We're gonna go, so
waiting.
girls can't be historians.
So girls can't be historians. Girls can't be historians because girls are children. Women are adults. Women can be historians. Girls, period. And we're girls in like the brat way.
It's fucking brat.
I've said this.
It's fucking brat.
Girls in the brat way. We're so excited because today, after popular demand,
Yes.
we have Rhys Naylor.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
I find it very hard to imagine that anybody
Asked for this.
actually demanded that with any information of what it would entail. Know anything about me.
Well, we have had a lot of people be like, and by a lot I mean maybe 5, which is a lot.
At least 7 or 8 or 9.
But being like, we want Rhys on the pod. We need a Rhys reveal.
Yeah, Rhys reveal.
Rhys is my boyfriend. Did I say that? I don't know. I
think
talk about
you
him.
said
I
it.
talk about him a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
Um.
You're kind of like an omnipresent figure.
Yeah.
So I feel my role here is kind of to provide some more color to Carley's life.
Yeah.
To fill out the character of Carley for the fans.
You're like a poorly written female character.
Yeah.
Like a 2000s comedy.
Yeah.
You're a
I'm a manic pixie dream boy.
You are. You are. You're like Augustus Waters.
I'm 500 Days of
Whoa.
Summer.
You put the killing thing in between
In your mouth,
feet.
but
You don't
let
give it
it
the power to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is like, there should be like a boy name for that. Like Little Warlock Who Could for girls.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Little
I
Warlock Who
think
Could
you
for
actually
girls.
knocked it out of the park.
Is that good?
I
Yeah.
like that. Little warlock who could.
LWHC,
girls.
baby.
Yeah.
FG.
You're a little warlock who could.
Yeah.
For
Warlock
sure,
Who Could for
definitely.
girls.
I think also like I've been on YouTube now for like 4 years and I'll talk about, I made a commitment to myself to not like mine you for content,
Sure.
but I talk about you constantly.
That era's over.
Yeah.
Welcome to
the
mining content.
The mining has begun.
The
mining
mining
has
has begun. I'm desperate. I'm in my hack
Yeah.
era. We're going to be just doing mad boyfriend tags on my channel.
This
Yeah.
is like your equivalent of like when someone does a TikTok go viral and then they make like 500 of the exact same
Yes.
TikTok.
Yes, this is it. I'm creating my content prison as we speak
Yes,
right
yes,
now.
yes,
It's
yes,
actually
yes.
a really, really beautiful thing when you think about it.
around you.
Yeah, it's like how that comedian did that Eurovision song, and he's like a genuine comedian.
Oh,
but
yeah,
now
yeah.
he just did he had to do the Eurovision song 9 times because that was what people were like. We like that.
What was the Eurovision song?
It was like
Oh,
it was like that kind of Euro pop.
Of the dreams.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
That song actually rocks.
It was-
Unfortunately, it was
it
really
was-
you know.
This is
a
why
good
you
song.
should never try to do anything too good.
Yeah, I agree.
Always keep your content at a low standard so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can just like kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
Tom Hearn, who's a comedian and is known on like TikTok, he does a Ina Garden impression. Has said when he like goes on tour to do like solo sketch shows, he'll like have people scream from the audience like, "Do Ina!" So I'm in the middle of a fucking sketch right now. He also like does drag, and people are like, "Do Ina!
Do Ina! Do Ina!
It's very funny.
That his career is so impressive because I never thought so many people would like flock to a chef impersonation like that.
And people feel it.
people feel it in their
And he does
bones.
Martha Stewart now too. I know it's
Yeah.
it's very beautiful. But
Yeah.
I just remember that because I was like, that's funny. And I also love when people are very real about that stuff. A lot of
Yeah,
times when
absolutely.
people are like doing stuff online, they'll be like, it's great. And I want somebody to
I
be
love
like,
it.
I'm hemorrhaging followers.
It's my passion.
And people demand that I do Ina Garden.
No one likes my Wolfgang Puck impression.
Exactly. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Okay, can I say I have two extremely important updates I want to bring up?
Okay.
Which is one, I found out that Baron Trump is 6'9".
I saw this on your Instagram.
I meant to
Yes.
put that into my close friends, but I put it on public and I was like, you know what? The world deserves to know. Because the world.
There's like
I'm breaking the news.
Yeah, the world follows you.
Yes.
There's like a screenshot of him playing Roblox, and his account is like looking to make friends and just connect with people. This was a while ago because I think he's like a teenager now. But I remember being like, we got to get him out of there.
I know. I think it may be too late though. Apparently, he's now like making
like
all these
alt-right.
connections between Trump and like these right wing podcasts.
That's really
and stuff
too
for him
bad.
to go on
That's
like Manosphere
really too
podcast.
bad.
type things.
Baron.
That's too bad because for a while I really thought he was going to twink out.
Yeah.
I really thought he would.
Well,
But then he got to 6'9".
He's going to NYU or Columbia or something. It's not too late.
Yeah.
So you could get chlamydia from Timothy Chalamet. It's not too
Exactly.
late.
It is, as the prophecy foretold.
That's crazy to me to think that like people at NYU can be like crazy white right-wing Republicans. Like that doesn't.
That's a real kind of thing of America. Like it doesn't really exist here in Canada in the same exact way where people can still have nuts opinions.
Yeah.
But you're not just like at a bodega in New York and a person who you've been talking to for like the whole week is like, by the way, I think
Build
that
the wall.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, wait, by the way, lock her up.
By the
And
way,
you're
lock
like,
her up.
What? What do you mean? By the way, Pizzagate.
By the way, Pizzagate. By the way,
back
Pizzagate.
honestly.
Bring back Pizzagate. I remember once I was driving through upstate New York, going to what's not Virginia, the other one, Vermont.
Yeah, you wouldn't be driving up
No.
upstate New York to go to Virginia.
No,
babe.
probably not.
Just geographically. It just doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
with the
you
roads.
decided to go, you took a whack route.
Yeah.
You wanted to do leaf peeping.
Yes.
And we were driving through. I was with a children's theater group, of course, because why wouldn't I be? And then on the side, I was like, this looks like a lot like Canada. Like, oh, it's kind of cute here. And then all of a sudden, like on the side of a house, it's just a huge like kill Hillary poster. I was like, oh my God, you guys aren't playing.
This is what I see when I see those
The
like
fuck-
fuck your nose.
yeah.
So I'm like, it's one thing to have these opinions, but this is how you want to decorate your house?
Yes, you have a house.
This is
and
your house.
This is your house. And also,
This is your house.
children live here. You have a big fuck on your house.
Stop putting fucks on your house. It's
Yeah,
not
no,
cool
and
the
it's
way you
never
think
a
it's cool.
cute design.
No, it's always just like it's impact font
Yeah,
on like a
course.
navy blue background.
polyester flag.
Yeah.
There's across from my parents' house, there's somebody with a big sign that just said Epstein didn't kill himself.
That's
and I'm
kind of
like,
awesome.
it's 2024. like first of all, yes, but move. This is your home.
Yeah, let's move past it.
Also, is it so out of the realm of possibility that a coward pedophile killed himself?
Yeah.
How long have we been recording?
7 minutes.
It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
We should get into Epstein, right?
It's time.
Welcome to Girl Historians and our 7-part series on Jeffrey Epstein.
This is like the last couple of episodes. We've immediately launched into some extremely touchy topics, like
Israel and
like it's just
Palestine.
cafe conversation.
I know, but this is what it means to be a girl.
This is what it means.
You're
to
like,
be
so
a
I got new
girl.
jeans, and also Kamala's talking about a 2-state solution. What the hell?
Let's just jump into it.
Yeah, let's just jump into it. What's your other piece of news?
My other piece is I started watching The Crown last night with my mom.
Yes!
I watched 5
Okay.
episodes, and honestly, I'm pretty into it.
Which season?
First season, because I told my mother, I was like, show me a good season. She was like, I don't know. And she plays this game called June's Journey on her phone or on her tablet.
Is this the single mom who is opening a cafe in a small town? It's like a tablet game.
Yeah, it's a tablet game. She's got it on her tablet.
And you're
she's
like
just
making orders and shit,
Yeah.
but also like your husband is abusive and you had to run away from him.
No,
the tone,
Jesus.
the tone
This
is crazy.
This is different. Like June
is
is
like
like
Apple
a spy.
something.
She's like a
Okay.
she's like a Nancy Drew type.
Okay,
but
I
like
love
a,
that.
Like a grown woman.
That's
and she's
fun.
like, and you get like different islands and you build your towns. And my mom apparently has like more points than like all of her grades. She has all these Facebook friends that play it together. So she was playing June's Journey, not really paying attention to
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
And so she just put on season 1 and then demanded that we had missed 4 episodes. She was like, there's 4 episodes before this. There wasn't. I think she was thinking of the movie The King's Speech. But it's fine. And so,
Oh no.
she was like, stuff happened before this. We're missing the part where he has a stutter. I was
And
like,
you're like,
so
yeah,
that's
the film,
that's
The King's
film,
Speech.
The King's Speech.
Yeah.
But I love it. I
That movie
fear I'm into it.
blew my parents' mind.
Oh, yeah.
My father, I feel like that's his actual favorite movie.
The King's Speech?
Yes. Yeah, he loves that movie.
Yeah.
He was like, he had a stutter and he had to learn to not have a stutter. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So like
So,
having
yeah.
a stutter.
Yeah, so when everybody else has a stutter, it's just that he has to give public speeches because of his job.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm
like,
absolutely.
I know improvisers with more courage than him.
Every single fucking one, baby.
I remember liking it, but like I don't remember like fawning over it.
I know, but I feel like I'd have to rewatch it now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. But I'm excited that you started watching The Crown. The Diana season's fucking rock. I've got to start the new ones with Elizabeth Debicki as Diana because she won an Emmy.
I know.
So
I
that's
only
exciting.
made it up to. I never made it to the third cast.
Which is that's like the
Yeah.
Emma Corrin, Josh O'Connor.
No, that's the second cast. The third cast.
That's
is
Elizabeth
the
Debicki.
Yeah, the third cast is like the guy from The Wire.
Yes. Yeah.
Imelda Staunton as the queen.
Yeah,
Is that
I
the
have-
third
Yeah,
cast.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there either. I have to start that one though.
Yeah.
But the genuinely for the Patreon, Blair and I watched Diana the musical, and it really makes you appreciate how good of an actor Josh O'Connor is at playing King Charles, because it's a really hard character to make appear human.
Yes.
Like you don't like you're because he acts in ways you're like, I simply can't even fathom the motivation for why you would act this way.
Yeah.
Like he's either a villain or like or just insane. Like just acting in
No in
whatever you think
between.
is gonna ziggy zags. And Josh O'Connor really put in the work that day.
Yeah.
And Emma Corrin is obviously fantastic. It's a tall order to play Princess Diana.
That's really cool.
Is that also who's the queen in that one?
Olivia Colman.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
I
and
love
it's
her.
Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher.
Which is crazy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Honestly, no notes on that performance.
Obsessed with her.
Obsessed
I haven't even
with that
seen it and I'm
performance.
obsessed with her.
It's so fun. It's like it's one of those like impressions where the first time she comes on screen, you're like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to get into this. And then by the end, you're like, that's how she speaks.
Yeah. No, that's her.
Yeah.
No, this was like watching Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann Elvis with Tom
Hurry,
Hanks'
mama.
crazy accent.
Yes, I've heard
Oh,
this. I haven't
yes.
seen it, but I've heard his accent is unhinged.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare.
This happens though. I feel like half of Meryl Streep's recent movies, she does a crazy voice in.
Yeah.
It does feel
You get to a
like-
certain point where you just want to have fun. Even in so many movies, you're like, let's try and see if I can make this work.
Crazy
Yeah,
voice
you
in this one.
you start setting up obstacles for yourself to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are. Do you guys have any? Do you have any updates?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I saw you on Monday,
Yeah,
so it's kind of
true.
hard to update you on anything like actually important.
And we really got into it on Monday.
Yeah, we
And I've never been on this podcast, so my entire life is updated.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
We'll get you in a sec.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get your recap of the last 30 years of your life in a minute. Just a quick little.
Yeah, I had
little
that
ditty.
audition to play the victim of John Wayne
Oh, how was
Gacy's,
that?
or the sister of John Wayne Gacy's victim. Horrible. It was absolutely awful. It was an awful audition.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it all day. Get into the Zoom room, do it once, and they're like, okay. And
Yeah.
like, there's one part at the very end where I feel like I could get sued for this, but who cares? Where the whole
fine.
thing is, I go because I don't think that my brother was killed, even though he obviously was. Where I go, my
No.
brother ran away, and I like bungled it. It's like the only part of the line where, and I was talking to Rhys afterwards, where it's like because I'm not very good at acting, I like try to pace everything up.
Yeah.
But like the reader that they had me with was obviously like knew the tone of it, of like a very like
Yeah.
true crimey whatever. So she was like, they found lots of bodies there, and I'd be like, nope, my brother, he ran away.
But you were
Like, it
going
was so
against tone.
fast.
That's an artistic choice.
That's true.
It definitely
That's
was.
a
It was
choice.
a massive choice. Also, I'm just like,
Really good choice.
I'm so ill-equipped to be in something like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. Well, I told you about the time I think I texted it to you, but I once went in for this casting director on the Zoom audition, and the casting director was lying down on the couch while I did my audition, which I was like, I get it, but like,
But no, but you want
you
but
sit-
then request a self.
yeah, I'm like, prop up on some pillows. Don't like be. I'm doing my audition, and I'm like,
I was-
like your laptop's up on your knees and your head's in my pillows. I'm like, the world is so fucked. I hate it here.
I love that because they have no respect. I was expecting into this. I was going into this audition like mentally prepared for that image because I was like, it could happen to me.
No, the worst part is they didn't even hate me. I think they put me on hold for
Yeah.
that role.
Well, you moved him.
I
Yeah,
was- well, 'cause
you got
I
him to kind of go up onto his elbows.
Yeah.
sort of like did one side like, hey, I'm up.
Love it. Yeah, like it was I've done a couple where I've gone in and they'll call you in at like 9 a.m. in the morning and they're like, it's like an
Which is
in-person
evil.
callback. Yeah. So already I'm like worried.
No.
And the director is on Zoom. So I'm going into a room to do what I've done on tape already, to a director who's like on a laptop while I'm acting into a camera. And they're like, oh, I can't really hear And then the person operating the laptop's like, oh, I don't know why. You're good to go. And I was like, he can't hear me. I came across town to be here for 9 a.m. Can we at least do a take where he hears me? I have ears.
Such a nightmare. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, but those are always the
God,
ones.
that's awful.
Not that, but like you book the ones where you're so mad to be there.
I think that's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can really use it to your advantage because they're like, she really
Yeah.
hates being here.
I had an audition yesterday and I was so pissed because one of my friends sent me an annoying text message and I was thinking about it all morning. Crushed the audition.
Yes!
I was so angry.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was
you're
like, I wasn't even processing what I was doing. I was
yeah,
just
you were
pissed off
being
about something
natural.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was finally being myself.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I did an improv scene that was not funny at all, but amazing acting.
That's what they
Wow.
want. Yeah.
Probably moving. Very moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that's what's new.
Slay.
And recently I started watching Studio 60 on the Sunset
Oh,
Strip,
yeah.
which is Aaron Sorkin's show that
Huge.
is about SNL that came on at the
Oh,
same time as
cool.
30 Rock and got canceled.
Oh, that's rough.
And the entire
That's too
basis,
bad.
like the first 3 episodes, is that they have Christian protesters because of a sketch they're going to do called Crazy Christians.
Oh.
You know how SNL
You know how
leaks
SNL.
the name of sketches before they do them.
Yeah.
It's-
But the show was rescued by, minor spoiler for the first episode, the cold open that is a Gilbert and Sullivan parody.
Yeah, we're going to be the very model of a modern network TV show.
and everyone agrees that this has saved the show and,
And
it's
they get
better
a
than ever.
standing O for that. I am the very model of a modern network TV show. And they have this like Commedia dell'arte sketch. It's really wild. Aaron Sorkin only interested in the things that interest him, and you got to put it up for him.
That's so funny.
It's really, really funny.
I gotta watch this.
Yeah, you should.
That
It's
rocks.
really insane.
I do think that like people who like even comedians I find have a really hard time like fictionalizing comedy, like
Yes.
or like a comedic profession. You know what I mean? Because it's always just like, oh, that's actually like not funny.
Yeah, no, it's really hard. It's the Daisy
not
Jones
funny.
and the Six problem.
Yes.
If you can't be like, this album changed the world.
Yeah.
And it's you and me now,
No
which will
regret
be on my
you.
Spotify Wrapped. Let's be ready for it. But
No,
it's not
no, yeah.
rumors. You know what I mean?
How did I get here?
How do I get out?
I think that's the longest amount of episodes we've gone without talking about
Daisy
Daisy
Jones.
Jones.
So actually, good job for us.
Yes, good job for us.
Yeah.
I think it's our number one most revisited topic.
We talk
other
about
than
it-
the topics of the season.
Yeah, we talk about it almost constantly.
because I'm always thinking about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, and big news that the Submersible was found.
I know.
You sent that. I showed that to Rhys. I thought that was very scary.
Really, really scary.
Really just kind of, I don't care for the bottom of the ocean.
no.
I
It's
don't,
really
I'm
quite-
not
it's
interested in
quite
what's
scary.
going on down there.
I don't like
think
that there's
it's any
like
of my
different
business.
crabs at the bottom
No,
of the
that
ocean.
seems
really
wrong.
sits wrong with me in a really dark way.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't feel like it should be. We should fill it with concrete or something. I don't care for it.
I remember when I was in Second City Conservatory, I was always trying really hard to write a sketch that was like astronauts instead going to the bottom of the ocean, and it never
Ooh.
worked out because it was just me projecting my fear.
Yeah, they're like,
Being
so
like
this
the-
isn't really a sketch.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't
it's like
seem to have
this-
too much of a
This
comedic
actually,
tilt.
yeah, this actually isn't funny. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, no, but you don't get it. The bottom of the ocean is actually the scariest place.
We're like, yeah, no, we
In the-
get
like
that. It's
everyone
just
gets
not
it.
a concept.
Yeah, and I realized it the other day. I was like, oh, I was just trying to talk about my fear
Yeah.
with my friends.
Yeah.
through
Right.
comedy.
Yeah.
But you didn't know how to just be vulnerable.
No, I didn't know how to be. I still don't. But no, that's crazy. And it's like all in one chunk.
I know.
And it's got like a tension rod around it, which is crazy
I know.
to like hold it together.
I know.
Horrifying.
We've talked about it before, but
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they all got coffees and a bunch of them got like fucking cold brew before going on that tiny little tin can to the bottom of the ocean is psychotic. Why would you ever get goddamn cold brew
No.
before going into a little thing?
Why
No.
why would you ever get cold brew, period? First of all, I don't believe in it. Second of all, why would you get cold brew and then go into a tiny
You're gonna
tiny
shit your
metal
pants
container?
out.
You're going to shit your pants. You're going to shit in the bucket and everyone's going to hate you.
And you're gonna hear it because it's like fucking 1 foot away from everyone's ears.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
Not an ideal
That's it.
situation.
no, it's awful.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Rhys Naylor in the house.
Swift decided. So we've decided to rework kind of like the guest structure, like our live show, and have people kind of bring to us historical events that they think are interesting. So we're not just kind of like info dumping for 2 hours on a poor, unsuspecting friend of ours.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because that was really fun to do.
It was fun to do.
It was a cool dynamic to put onto another person.
I would sit and listen.
Aw,
You're an ally.
ally.
Thank
You
you.
love women and listening to them.
Thank you. Yes.
Ally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ally.
Yes.
Ally.
Thank you. Good. Yes.
There was one time reason I saw like a Shakespeare in the Park thing. And there was truly a child afterwards being like, oh, do you want to scan this QR code to sign this petition for environmentalism? And she was what? 11?
10 years old.
10 years old. And then afterwards,
Dark.
I was like, oh, I don't know where my phone is. And Rhys was like, well, you had it when you were scanning that QR code from that woman. And I was like,
Woman?
because he's being an ally.
Well,
Because we don't call grown women girls.
Yes,
No.
that was one of the big rules in my house growing up. My mom really didn't like because some of the men in her office would call like the women that worked there the girls or whatever.
Oh.
She really hated that. So
No, it's gross.
Yeah.
I'll call a baby woman.
She's a woman.
I don't care.
No, you don't give a fuck.
My beautiful baby woman.
Yeah.
Beautiful name for a baby woman.
Beautiful name for a baby woman. You gotta come meet my baby woman.
Yeah.
My baby woman.
My baby woman mother.
So all that's to say is you're a feminist.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yow.
Rhys, what's like your relationship to history then?
Love it. My dad is a professional historian.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So it's I'm a Nepo baby for
Yes.
the podcast.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Kinda.
And you know a lot about history. Oftentimes they'll come into the living room and you're looking at various maps.
Damning but true.
Just coming on the podcast to get roasted by Carley.
Yeah.
It's fun to walk in
The,
on you looking at a map.
But you
I'm
do
sorry.
know a
I'm a
lot.
map guy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is that a crime?
I think seeing all kinds of maps is interesting.
That's true. But you do know a lot about history.
It's
As a regular person.
it is a legitimate interest. I
Yes.
think it's interesting stuff.
You love the Roman Empire? Or
No,
you know a lot about it. Didn't you
I
listen
would
to the
say
whole Roman
I
Empire
did-
podcast?
I guess that's true. You have the receipts a little bit. But I would say I'm less
Hundreds of hours.
I'm less interested in it than the average person who's interested in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
as far as historical interests go, it's not necessarily more interesting to you than other stuff. You just
Right.
know
Because
about.
some people are there's
their
a lot
thing.
of there's men that are like we love like they're like Roman Empire and like World War II.
What would you say some of yours are?
Mm.
What's your Roman Empire? What's your World War II?
Oh Lord. I don't know. Well, we'll get into a bit. I think a lot of stuff happened in the 1800s.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
You're so right about that.
Well, there's a lot of focus on the 20th century, but a lot of stuff happened in the 19th century
Yeah,
that
it's
continues
true.
to grasp its little fingers into our modern era.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I totally agree.
Sure,
20th
sure,
century is
sure.
overrated.
Here's I'll say my reverse Roman empires, the parts of history that I famously don't like very
Yes.
much.
I love this.
Flappers.
I am sick of the fucking 20s.
I've never met a person who hates the 20s.
No,
with
but
the
I'm
energy that
already
you
with
do.
you, to be honest.
It makes
I'm already
sense.
with you.
It's just everything is about the 20s.
Yeah.
Everything became the Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
I just feel
agree.
like it's like a misrepresentation because like the 20s were actually like just kind of a rough era coming out of a huge war.
Sure.
Yeah, I think, and I
Oh.
do love the 20s, but
Yeah.
I think that the 20s should be remembered with the same energy as like the 2010s,
Yes.
where it's like tacky gaudiness and like every song is like, give me everything tonight. Like everything is that because we've seen horrors.
Yes.
And we are beginning to feel the overturn of the economy.
Yes.
Like, that's interesting to me. I think that's why like stuff like, and people don't like The Great Gatsby. I think it's a good book. Like, I think that's why it's interesting and compelling of this, like the idea of man of being like, oh, well, things are bad and are going to be bad soon.
Yeah.
But why don't we just buy like a gold plated mansion until that becomes a fucking problem?
This is the
But
problem.
it
with
just
the,
becomes
yeah.
flappers. It just
This
becomes
is the problem
flappers.
too with the 20s, where it's just like we know now that the Great Depression hits.
Hard.
So it's just like we're always thinking of it in that lens. We're never
Right.
like
This is the thing.
it
I
was
watched
just the 20s.
the Harry Potter sequels that take place in the 20s, and one of the characters can't get a loan, and I'm like, it's 1922.
Also, can they not just...
He's not a wizard.
Oh.
That happens eventually. One of his wizard friends gives him the collateral to start his bakery, and you'll never guess what. He makes Jewish pastries that are magical beasts.
Can I do an impression?
Yeah.
This is my impression of someone in the Harry Potter world being told that they're, that they're a muggle. You're not a wizard, Harry.
Blair. Nothing. Giving you nothing.
So
on that note.
Thank you so much.
And on that note,
I'm gonna have to tell my agent is and love her obsessed with sending me out for like Dairy Board of Ontario ads, and I have to keep telling her no.
Like,
I don't want to do a commercial for fucking steak.
Save the cows.
Yeah, it's
No,
one
that's
thing if you
crazy.
want to. I don't have an issue with other people eating animals, but I don't think I need to do a. Do we need
Do
a
the
commercial
milk
for
commercials.
steak?
No.
I don't think steak needs a commercial.
No, I've been on a tangent about this on the podcast before. Why the fuck do we need to advertise eggs?
Cheese doesn't need a commercial.
I don't I'm just saying you're not getting any new fans of eggs or cheese.
Yeah, they're kind of the main stuff. They're kind of the main stuff.
I feel like people who like eggs and cheese are decided. They picked it out. They've been like, I'm going to be an egg and cheese.
No one's going to go, what's this?
Like, yeah, and it's always like, let's get like they always advertise raw egg. They're never cooking the eggs.
This is interesting because there's no board or whatever that advertises like just the idea of generic bread.
No, because
Right?
Bread's got it. Bread's got it on lock.
Bread's got it. They need
bread knows that they're solid. Bread has BDE.
Big dick energy.
Big dick energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
What are your
Dempster's
other
energy.
reverse
Yeah.
Roman empires? You really don't like the 20s, and I think you've also opened my eyes to the fact that a lot of stuff is the 20s. Like, it is an overused genre of fiction. We are obsessed with it.
Yes, it's
Obsessed
insane.
with it.
I only care a regular amount about the Middle Ages.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't like any time period where I'm like, everyone smelt like fucking shit and they had open sores on their back. That's why I like House of the Dragon, because besides the king that is literally falling apart, spoiler alert, it's in the first episode. But everybody else is so rich that I'm like, they're getting bathed.
Yeah.
I don't like, it's not, and I feel bad for the peasants, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it.
Okay, then I'm sorry. There'll be a lot of probably stinky, suffering people this week.
That's okay. It's not like they were well bathed in Salem. I just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Oh.
Maybe they like wicked it off, like
With their magic.
just kind of like a little cloth.
I rewatched Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
I saw that on your letterboxd.
on my letterboxd.
I want to say I saw that she had rented it on YouTube.
Sorry,
I deserve that. I deserve that for the map. For the map.
For the
review.
map.
I
This
deserve
is the
that.
revenge of the map comment.
Exactly.
I will say, not to drag your financial decisions, but I feel like it should be something you can find for free.
I know, but I don't know how.
She wants it in high def.
I don't really know how to pirate things.
It's fine.
You can teach
I found
me.
Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story just on YouTube.
But was it good high quality or was
Yeah,
it?
it was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
It was
right.
awesome.
Well, maybe I made a mistake then.
No, it's fine. I rent things on YouTube all the time and I always get roasted for it. And then I get offended because I'm like, it's actually a good thing to do. And then I do it to you. I turn around and
Well, I started
We're
renting things on
supporting creators.
YouTube because of both of you. Both of you are the only people I know that rent stuff on YouTube.
renting stuff on YouTube rocks.
We're two peas in a pod.
You and Blair.
Yeah.
Renting things on YouTube. YouTube's only 2 customers.
Yeah.
The rentals department.
I don't understand anyone who would buy something on YouTube.
I have
No.
bought the full.
What have you bought?
What have I bought on YouTube? I bought like a full season of Broad City.
I guess sometimes for us, if you gotta buy if it's a show,
You gotta buy it.
maybe.
You gotta make a purchase every once in a while. And
Just to feel alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have I bought? I've bought a full season of Nathan For You, a full season of Broad City, a full season of The Good Place, and I've also bought Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Spinal Tap, and A Mighty Wind.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Good God.
All right.
And on that
And on that note,
note, should we just get into
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, I will. I'm very excited to hear what you have to tell us about today. You've
can't
really been
wait.
working on it.
Well,
You do things with quite a lot of care.
thank you. That's
We
very-
invent full characters by accident.
Well, here's the issue, and I do want to get into this first because I am feeling the heat of this a little bit.
Okay.
There's got to be you guys surely have some blanket thing that you're like some of this is going to be wrong.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
We, while touring the Titanic, talked about how the unsinkable Molly Brown was on like 6 shipwrecks, and that's untrue. It's just a lie. It's just not something that's true. I also one time talked about how Margaret Thatcher invented soft serve.
Yeah.
Which is a massive generalization. And people were fucking mad about that. And I'm like, okay, she's dead, so I think it's fine.
Okay, great.
Well, it's also just like, that wasn't even the point of it. We were just saying that she's evil. It was
And
just
she
a
is.
segue to say that she's evil.
Yes.
And she did help with soft serve.
She did. She worked. Yes.
helped
So
with soft
blanket
serve.
statement, of course, always. Not everything will be necessarily true, but the gist is we're not aiming to misinform.
Yeah.
Great. Agreed.
No.
Okay. Today, we are zooming back to Victorian England
Woo!
to visit the 1851 Great Exhibition and the quote-unquote cursed Kohinoor diamond.
Yes.
I will say I witnessed maybe one of my favorite conversations between you two this week when you were talking about that you were talking about a cursed diamond. And Blair went, "Is that real?" And you went, "Yeah, I mean, curses aren't real, but it's real." And Blair was like, "I guess, yeah, curses aren't real." So
Okay.
this is exciting.
So, to begin with, for the sake of brevity, I'm not getting too deep into Queen Victoria herself, but a very interesting person. And if you ever want to explore her, I would encourage you to do so.
He pitched Queen Victoria. I think that'd be a good one.
She
Victoria,
was the
that'd be a
queen
good
for
one.
like 50,000
I was
years or
reading
whatever,
her
and-
entire Wikipedia page yesterday.
Wow.
So, okay.
And she's cunty.
She's cunty as fuck.
I also love Queen Elizabeth, not the
I
recent
know.
one, the one, because famously I have an Elizabethan forehead, and she shaved her hairline back to get
To make her forehead bigger.
baby what I was born with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me,
Baby.
Sarah Paulson, Kristen Chenoweth.
You would have crushed in Elizabethan times.
I would have been Kylie fucking Jenner.
You know what you could have? You could have been Gwyneth Paltrow in Shakespeare in Love.
Literally.
You know?
Literally.
Yeah. You
But-
would have
Okay.
crushed.
Okay, but a little Cole's notes.
Okay.
She was crowned in 1837 when she was 18. Her
Crazy.
dad or whatever hung on just long enough for
Her to be 18.
her to be 18, basically, and then died.
Barely legal. Barely legal queen.
And at the and at the time, this was like what people think of as like the height of the British Empire. You know, the sun doesn't set on the British Empire kind of thing.
Did they do like what they did with Billie Eilish, where as soon as she turned 18, everyone was like, her titties, they're big.
When you said Billie Eilish, I thought you meant Billie Elliot, and I was like,
Oh my God, Billy Elliot's titties.
Yes. We did an improv show where there was a bunch of British people in the front row, and they said they were from Wales, and Wales went, "Oh, your name is not Wales." Blair went, Wales went. That's my new name for you. Blair went, "Wales, that's Billy Elliot." And they were like, "Yeah."
No, they got excited. They were happy. I also said fuck Thatcher, and they thought I said fuck Yorkshire, which is the last place I would say.
And I had like an out of body experience during that. You ever have that where you're on stage?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm disassociating.
I was
right
looking
now.
down on that show.
Yeah. Yes.
Looking down
I
on
was
that show from
astral
above.
projecting, watching myself in that show.
It's like
choices were made. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay. So, importantly, this was also kind of smack dab in the middle of what's called the Pax Britannica, which was Napoleon gets defeated in 1815. The 99 years between that and World War I in 1914. None of these great powers were beefing or having wars, which they were basically always doing before that.
Yeah.
Because Britain was like the top dog.
Yeah.
We were talking
The
about
kind of
how
king of the...
King of
you
the
don't want to
castle.
you don't want to fuck
King of the
with
hill.
Britain right
Exactly.
now. Which is funny to imagine now.
I know, the rinky-dinkiest little poor country in the world.
I know. I'm like, it feels like we're closing in on one day North Korea's just gonna go, I think I might bomb England into the ocean just to try it out, see what I can do.
Test run.
Just a little test run to see if I can take down North America and see if I can absolutely decimate this island. Sorry, England. That would be so sad.
That'd be so sad.
Unpopular opinion, if England got blown to bits by
That'd
North
be
Korea, I'd be
so
sad.
It would be honestly tragic. My brother lives there.
Yeah. And our vacation would be so messed up if that happened.
I know.
Yeah, also, we were talking about this when we went to Berlin, that this is the longest stretch of time now where Germany and France have not been at war.
Yeah.
Like now times.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
there used to be
wow.
a lot more. I mean, it's rough times right now, but there used to be a lot more war than there is now.
Well, war also is scary now.
Sure.
You're not there.
I
You're
feel
not on the ground. It used to be war used to be
Yeah.
like blue coats in a line walking towards red
Yeah,
coats in a line,
yeah.
and everyone gets shot.
Just sort of be like, we get the hill now.
Yeah, exactly. Nice try.
Well, that's like even because I'm reading this book right now and it's talking about a war. It's like a historical book. I won't say
yeah, you just can't. She's not going to launch it yet because it's,
not
the,
going to
it's
launch
the next
it,
concept.
but
Yeah.
It's the next concept. But they're talking about a war in it, and the whole war is like looking back. It's like the numbers were so small.
Yeah.
Like obviously, it's still human lives and lives were lost, and it's tragic. But it's like
Yeah, but like, nah.
compared to like modern wars, it's like
Yeah, the
oh,
second
like,
we invented drones,
it was done.
it's not good. That's the new Oppenheimer. Whoever fucking did
It's
that.
invented drones.
Oppenheimer is drones.
Oppenheimer is
Oppenheimer
drones.
Droppenheimer.
Okay. Just okay. So for context, the British Empire at this point is a huge chunk of Africa, including Egypt, part of South America, a ton of Caribbean islands like Jamaica and stuff, Canada,
Right.
Australia, New Zealand, a whole mess of Pacific islands.
It's a good collection.
Part of Southeast Asia.
It's a good collection of
They got a
places.
big- That's
and,
big stuff.
and India,
Yeah.
which
Unfortunate
was
for India as well.
Pakistan, and Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Those three
Okay.
modern
British
countries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just decimating their economy. ATM.
we'll get into that. Okay. But so the 1851 exhibition was kind of the brainchild of her husband, Prince Albert, and
Yes.
this guy, Henry Cole. So a bit about Prince Albert.
He's a penis piercing.
Is that true?
Well, that's the piercing on your penis. Wow, it's hard to say. It's called a Prince Albert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What a legacy.
So what a
Legacy. What is
so,
a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see.
so for context of this whole thing, imagine that
Rise
Prince
up. Rise up. Time's up. That's Albert talking about a penis
Yeah.
piercing.
in the eye of the hurricane there is quiet.
That's the moment he was holding me. My mother was holding me. I couldn't seem to die.
Damn.
That song fucking sucks.
Okay.
That's such a crazy musical. Yes, go on about Prince Albert.
Okay, so Prince Albert was the Duke of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha in Germany.
So they're friends, but they're not. But he's like it's like an English German friendship. Where was Prince Albert from?
Prince Albert was a German prince.
Okay,
Yeah.
he married.
Yes.
Okay.
So Elizabeth, it was known that she was soon going to take over the
So
monarchy,
Mhm.
and they were like, we got to get her married.
Yeah.
So her uncle was King Leopold of Belgium, and he suggested, this guy, Prince Albert, check him out or whatever.
Check him out or whatever.
Check him out or whatever. So they met. He went to her 17th birthday party, but she
Boo.
did not.
How old is he?
I don't know, but I think he's about the same.
Okay, that's fine. Her fucking 17th birthday party. you
Also,
freak.
I feel like in the 1800s,
Consent
17 was like being 40.
Oh,
not
yeah.
being married.
Yeah, also, consent was not invented yet. That had not dropped.
Yeah.
But when they first met, Victoria did not like him at all because he had horrific diarrhea and kept falling asleep.
It's like how we met.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's too far, but so like Carly.
Yeah, exactly. I have horrific diarrhea and I'm falling asleep on the couch.
Exactly.
It's like when we do like a comedy show and I find like a seat in the corner and I just kind of go on my phone before the show, and then I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the show because that's I am Prince Albert at my
And
core.
apparently the whole German contingent had like dysentery or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Traveling was
But-
not fun.
Like they
at
were
the time.
ill.
But it was not a good first impression.
No.
But then they met again in 1839 and fell head over heels for each other. Yeah. She was quite taken
So was
with
she
him.
18 at this point?
She was, I think, 19.
Okay.
19.
I think this is 2 years later.
19.
I'm 19, but I act my age.
Yeah, but she thought he was very sexy and had very distinguished features and a good personality.
Word.
Awesome.
And he liked her as well.
Good second impression.
Because they were really like famously in love as far as royals go.
As far as, and that's tough.
After she lived 40 years longer than him and wore black every day of her life after he died.
I would do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope not. I want you to go on with your life.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, too dark for the pod. Too dark for the pod.
See, they're loving it.
So they get married in 1840. She has a big white wedding gown, which is the beginning of wearing white at weddings.
I did know this.
Yes.
That's iconic,
This
actually.
launched a real trend. Virginal brides have done so ever since.
She's a real trendsetter. Real trendsetter for virginal brides.
And you'll like this. She was only 4'11", I think.
I do like that. And that's the past, in a way.
Can I just say my mother, my grandmother, and my sister are all 4'11", and I'm a giant. giant at 5'4".
This is my sister too. At home, we'll always be like, Katie, can you get that? And she'll be like, no, I'm not tall. Just
I'm
compared
just
to
a bit
you.
taller than you.
I know.
Albert was not popular.
No.
Oh.
The public didn't like him. The press didn't like him. They were
'Cause of
very
his penis
nervous about it. Most likely. They were very nervous and did not think it kind that a German had now wormed his way into the high reaches.
And you know
of-
what?
Yeah.
Maybe they knew a little something that we didn't.
Were you gonna?
They knew one Adolf Hitler was coming down
Yeah.
the barrel
Yeah.
in about 200 years. They go, something wicked this way
They
comes.
said a little bit like,
Funny.
But
funny.
he threw himself into the job. He loved organizing little things. He had all kinds of little interests and stuff.
That rocks.
So patronizing.
Yeah.
He threw himself in the job. He had all kinds of
little
like,
hobbies.
little interests. He loves organizing little things.
Yes. So the other guy that he did the exhibition with was this guy named Henry Cole, who was kind of a civil
And
servant.
he's a German guy too.
No, Henry Cole's a good, upstanding Brit.
Mhm.
He was an assistant record keeper at the Public Records Office.
How the fuck did these two meet?
Well, he loved art and design. He was the editor of like a journal of design and art and stuff. And he was a member of the Society of the Arts, which,
Is he gay?
So they're gay.
I don't know.
I think they're gay for each other, probably.
I think everybody, unless I explicitly tell you otherwise, everybody is gay.
Okay. That's true for life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But through this Society of Arts that I guess Albert
Okay,
patronized,
cool,
they met
cool.
that way.
Society of Arts.
Henry
Gay
Cole-
Society of Penis Piercing
Gay
in
bar.
King's ass.
Henry. yeah. You're getting the perfect vibe of this gentleman. But Henry Cole also was had been put in charge of reforming the post office and introduced these like penny stamps, which allowed people to mail for cheaper, and designed and sent the very first Christmas card.
Okay, so he's actually kind of iconic.
So there's
He's
some real
sweet.
trendsetters in this story.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nobody sets more trends than a bisexual woman with a man with a penis piercing and his gay best friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who likes to send Christmas cards.
You think a straight man invented Christmas cards?
And so they were interested in this was like the height of the Industrial Revolution. There's all these new inventions. There's, Dickensian smoke filled factories and stuff.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is the
yeah,
vibe
yeah,
of
yeah,
when
yeah.
we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And they wanted to kind of show off all this new technology and kind of the riches of the empire and stuff. And there had been, in 1844, a French exhibition of things. And they're like, oh, we can do better than that.
Because they put up the Eiffel Tower for that one. No.
Oh,
Am I?
I don't
Wrong?
know. That might have been later, but I don't know.
But the French did a bunch of these big, kind of
Well,
exhibitions.
yes, this one really launched World's Fairs
Yes.
forever. I feel like they
Okay.
might have put up the Eiffel Tower in the 1880s,
I know. It
but I
does
don't know for
sound like
sure.
the 1880s.
Which one did the Dion quintuplets go to?
I don't
That
know.
was in the 20th century.
Well,
I'm
I know
pretty
it.
sure.
I know it's in the 20th century, but I mean, I feel like they went to France or whatever. There are a bunch of famous Canadian quintuplets whose parents fucking just
the
brought
biggest
them.
Canadian celebrities of the early 1900s were just quintuplets.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So the exhibition was held in the Crystal Palace,
Oh,
which was this gigantic iron and glass greenhouse that they built specifically for this in Hyde Park. And I looked on the map, very close to the Princess Diana Memorial Fountain.
wow.
If you're looking for some connections.
We gotta
that's
go. We gotta go
beautiful.
visit.
But I don't think it was there at the time.
There's also
Okay.
a football team called Crystal Palace.
I'll get into
Okay,
this.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so iron and glass, the most glass ever in any building ever. 60,000 panes of glass.
Crazy.
That's
That's
nuts.
really nuts.
It was
Because glass also had to be made.
Yeah,
what
they
I
had
mean?
to make the
they had
glass.
to make the glass.
They couldn't
Yeah.
just find the glass like they do these days.
Yeah, glass used to mean something.
Yeah, glass used to mean something.
glass means fucking nothing.
Nothing.
Glass
and that's
means nothing.
on account of pronouns.
So it was 990,000 square feet,
Wow.
128 foot high ceilings, and everyone was amazed because they didn't need indoor light because of all the glass and everything.
Wow.
Okay, that's very
So
impressive.
people were freaking out.
That's
and
pretty
they
cool.
built it in only 39 weeks.
Jeez.
And I can't talk about construction times now. Let's just say, I think we should be hurrying up.
Yeah, I had
Building
I-
things now.
Things are taking a long time.
definitely.
They're
I had an
taking a
Uber
damn long
driver from China, and he was saying that if Chinese people were building the Eglinton LRT, it would take 2 months.
Mhm.
And that doesn't feel correct to me. But I was like, you'd know better
Probably
than
got a
I would.
point.
There's all these maps you can see, and they'll compare Toronto transit lines. to like a city in China or whatever, and they'll be like Toronto in 1990 and show it, and they're like this city in 1990, and it has none, and then it's like it now it has like 18 transit lines, and Toronto has one less because we closed the SLP.
I saw that map.
That's very funny.
So true.
Okay, so per this Crystal Palace soccer team thing, after the exhibition was done, they disassembled it, moved it out to the countryside.
Okay.
And a neighborhood grew around it called Crystal Palace and has a soccer team called Crystal Palace.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's so
really cool.
And it burned down in 1936.
Oh,
But the football team didn't burn down. They're still around.
Because I
care
remember
about
in your big Premier League era, I thought that was an oddly named team.
Yeah, I thought it was strange as well, but I didn't really look into it. I was like, the British name things for all kinds of
and
reasons.
for everyone who doesn't know, in England, football is soccer. And
Yes.
for everyone in England, it's football.
And chips and fries.
Chips are fries.
I know that.
Flats are apartments.
And crisps are chips.
crisps are chips.
Lift is elevator.
Lift is elevator.
And the tube is the subway.
And a trunk is a
Yes.
boot.
And I think we're all
it's
caught
a
up.
boot.
All right, we're all caught up. The exhibition opened on May 1st, 1851 and went to October.
Taurus season.
October 15th.
Yeah, only, 3 days before your birthday?
1 day before my birthday. Thank you.
Oh my God.
In our entire 6-year relationship, I can count the number of times on one hand you've gotten my birthday right and my age right.
I'm really bad with numbers. I remember it when it comes. I don't forget
That's true.
his birthday.
That is true.
When it comes, I just forget the number. And that
Yeah.
was Ben Sosa Wright's birthday, I now realize, which is
It's-
actually really dark to think
It's
about.
May 2nd.
His is May 4th, Rhys's is May 2nd.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm often confused in her mind with Ben Sosa-Wright.
Yeah, I get it.
And,
I'm
and it's
also
not good.
often confused in her mind with Ben Sosa, right?
So the exhibition was a smash success. 6 million people came,
Whoa.
which was a third of the British population at the time.
That's
Nuts.
really crazy.
That's such an achievement.
And yeah, and
Yes.
also like traveling was so much harder back then.
Well, this was the thing. Railways to London had just opened. So a lot of people could come and see London for the first time. Like their entire life would have
Whoa.
been on some little farmstead or whatever.
That's
But now you
crazy.
can get on a train, go check out London, go to this exhibition. It's crazy stuff.
That's amazing.
Hopefully no cursed diamonds interfere with this in any way.
So just for context, the first week, the price to entry was £1, which is about $125
Jesus.
now.
What?
Yeah.
Imagine paying $125 to go to the X.
To go for 1 day.
Yeah. Then they, for the next 3 weeks, they lowered it to 5 shillings, which was like $25.
Okay. That makes
But
sense.
still, you
Crazy
had to be
price
kind
drop.
of middle class or like upper
Yeah.
class.
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And then on May 26th, you could go, they introduced a thing, you could go on the weekday for 1 shilling, which is about $5. So
Okay.
this is when the poor people started to
Yeah.
flood in
They
and
start
check
to
it out.
they start
Yeah.
to show up.
And it made a lot of money. They made the equivalent of 33 million pounds today,
Whoa.
Wow.
which Henry Cole had an idea for. He had a dream of what to do with all that money. He built this entire museum complex that if you ever go to like the Victoria and Albert Museum or like the Royal Colleges of Art or Albert Hall from the Beatles song, that's all built using this money.
Whoa.
That's really interesting, Rhys.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
I've delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
We would have never gotten that deep.
Yeah, you're safe for now.
Do you want to know some famous visitors who attended
Yes.
the exhibition?
The Dion quintuplets.
I don't believe so. Charles Darwin,
Whoa. Crazy that
Karl
he was
Marx,
Classic.
That's, yeah.
Charlotte Bronte,
okay. of
Charles
course.
Dickens,
Wow.
Lewis Carroll,
Okay.
George Eliot,
Awesome.
the deposed royal family of France, who was bumming around in England at the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they'd been run out of town in 1848.
Got to have fun somehow.
Yeah.
But there was some criticism of the exhibition.
Yeah. Can I say before you say this, it's objectively funny. What a communist thing to be like for Karl Marx to be like, by the way, free yourself of your chains.
Go to
I'm
the
going to
fair.
go to the fair real
Yeah.
quick. I'm going to drop $125 on the fair real quick.
I've got a Ferris wheel to ride. And it was a big success, but not everybody was happy about it.
No.
Because
So-
not everyone is ever.
No, there's haters out there.
Yeah, exactly.
The haters are my motivators.
As Ellen said.
That's what Prince Albert was saying.
Yeah,
That's
he was
how we
doing
said
I
that.
remember Ellen one time, somebody on her show, like they remixed her saying, "The haters my motivators," and then she did a big flash mob outside of a JCPenney because she sold her socks at JCPenney.
Wait, Ellen said haters are my motivators.
Yeah, I don't know if she invented it. It feels like she maybe stole it from
That's a crazy thing. to
JCPenney.
say.
from JCPenney.
So
Crazy.
some of the other monarchs in Europe were like, this is crazy. You'll get all these people together. They'll become a revolutionary mob.
Yeah.
They'll throw over, because kings and queens were getting knocked off left and right in these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in 1848, just 3 years before, like there were uprisings in like every country in Europe, basically.
That's rough.
Yeah.
It's got to be a contentious time.
Then there were just general haters. There was this guy, Charles Sibthorpe, who
And
was,
with a name like that.
yeah, an ultra-conservative Tory member of parliament who opposed rights for Catholics and Jewish people.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
He, thought that if anything changed at all, it was terrible. He thought railways were a fad and people were going to go back to the carriages and stuff.
That's really cool.
And he called it one of the greatest humbugs, frauds, and absurdities ever known. So he is coming for their throat.
Yeah.
You know that he wore it.
When the H word gets thrown.
Yeah, when you start saying humbug, you know he's wearing a top hat being a little bitch.
I know. He's got a monocle.
Come on.
I know. Get real.
No, that's really funny.
I'm sorry to bring such salty language onto the podcast.
It's okay.
It's
We'll bleep
humbug.
it. We'll bleep it.
We'll
Yeah.
bleep humbug.
Okay, let's talk about the exhibits a little bit.
Yes.
There were 100,000 exhibits.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
And they made money on this?
Who worked here?
So from Britain and from their colonies, but also other countries could pay to set up their own stall.
Okay.
So 44 countries did that,
This is like when you go to Epcot.
basically.
Okay.
So there were all kinds of luxuries from all the colonies, like, textiles, and from Canada, they had like timber and beaver pelts and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And like porcelain and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Wonders
This was
of
back-
the world that people would never have
You
ever
haven't
seen
it
before.
You would never
Yeah,
have
yeah,
seen
Things
yeah.
that we would
wood.
look at today and we're like, that's fucking boring.
Yeah, I'm like, so the stall was pelt and wood. And
Yeah.
the next stall over was just different pieces of porcelain.
But at the time, no one had ever seen anything.
Yes,
so
no, it's all
anything
new.
was
They
amazing.
had just seen kind of sludge
Yeah,
walking
yeah.
down the street.
I spent 17 hours at the textile fucking stall.
They had a
Yeah.
full recreation of a medieval court.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That's
They
fun.
Which
had-
at the time was last year.
Yeah, burn.
Burn.
Get them, Blair.
Idiots.
They had they stuffed different animals and put them in different whimsical tableaus.
Oh, that's
Oh.
fun.
They had
That's-
kittens having tea.
Like how
Wait,
like when the
oh.
dogs are like playing poker.
Yeah,
Like,
they had a
but
frog shaving himself.
I actually am obsessed with this and would pay $125 to see that.
Oh my god.
They also showed off a bunch of new inventions.
Yes.
So,
The printing press.
well, they did have a newspaper, like a vertical kind of newspaper
when you
printing
think about
machine
it, yeah.
that could print
Cool.
5,000 copies of the newspaper in 1 hour.
Oh my god. That's really impressive.
They had the velocipede, which was a precursor to a bicycle, which apparently had steering issues.
Sorry, wait. The bicycle wasn't invented in 1840.
Well, because I also think the penny farthing.
I don't know. I haven't dove deep into this.
Before they
Okay.
invented the bicycle, they went, what if one of the wheels is really big and you're on top of that wheel?
Yeah.
Insane.
Get your ladder out to get up there.
Yeah, and you're on top of the big wheel, and you have to steer
Yeah.
from the big wheel, and then there's
Yeah.
like a little one below. For
you just
some
know
fucking
going up a hill was crazy.
Yeah, like they really did not get a handle on what the bike would be.
No, they had a machine that used leeches to predict the weather.
And first of all, I just want to say that's not a machine.
Yeah.
Those are
kind of-
leeches.
It was kind of a contraption, and ostensibly the pressure something would make the leeches float when a storm was approaching.
Okay.
But we don't use that kind of stuff anymore.
no,
We don't use the
no, it's
leech
all
barometer.
apps.
They had a precursor to a fax machine that could transmit handwriting and little drawings and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
The world's first flush pay toilets. Paid a penny, you got to go use the stall and flush. And it was a huge, interesting thing. This was new technology.
What did they use before?
Well, they used a fucking hole in the ground.
God.
I hate to break it to you about sanitation from the past.
I would be carrying.
I think
mad
flush
pennies
toilets
around.
existed before, but like
Yeah, just England was just like that.
public pay toilets.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Okay,
for like
okay.
rich people.
Yeah, and they only cost a penny.
If you're a poor person, you're shitting in the hole in the
Yeah.
ground.
There was when I was researching this, a bunch of different places kept saying this is where the expression spending a penny comes from, which apparently is an expression for going to the bathroom, which I've never heard.
No, that's no.
No, I never heard that.
No, absolutely
We've
not.
been like about to
If
spend a
somebody-
penny.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, so you're going to spend a penny?
Yeah,
Like
so
you're going to pay with a penny.
You're gonna pay with a penny.
No,
Or
I'm
you're-
going pee.
Yeah, it's like what? So you're gonna shit out like a tiny, tiny amount of poo?
A penny's worth.
Like when you go to that machine, when there's that machine with the crank, it makes the penny long. You're
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Shit?
gonna make a souvenir penny out of your shit. What are
Fucking
you
weird.
talking about?
This is exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
You could watch the entire process of spinning cotton into textiles.
Awesome.
People loved textiles.
Well, yeah, they had one
was a lot of
dress. I
textile
too would
shit.
love textiles. If I had one brown dress.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll say it. We disrespect textiles these days.
I agree.
I'll say it.
They're
You're
the
brave.
core of almost
Thanks.
everything we wear.
Almost everything.
My armor.
Yeah, that's true. Your chain link armor.
Yeah. So at the American exhibit, they had Colt revolvers. Samuel Colt was there with his new famous revolvers.
Oh,
whatever. So America was
Americans
always
would
really
guns.
into kind of guns.
They would.
Yeah.
They would be like,
They also
want to
had-
show off.
They
our
also
guns.
had a statue called the Greek Slave,
All right.
which was a rotating marble statue of a naked woman wrapped in chains,
Oh my god.
which was apparently very racy at the time
Well, yeah, she's naked, but she's also in chains.
and spinning around. So that's a bit of the flavor of the American exhibit.
honestly, say what you will about America, they're on brand. They're always on
They
brand.
really stay in one vibe.
The first ever international chess tournament was held in conjunction with the exhibition.
Okay, that's awesome, actually.
Yeah, I know. I've been building up to the even more and more exciting stuff. It had some sponsors, including Schweppes, the world's first soft drink.
Oh my god.
Of ginger ale.
Ginger
Yes,
ale.
though at the time, I believe their product was like just like soda water.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay.
And
Cool.
now we get to the Indian exhibit.
Okay.
So obviously there was
And not the racist term for indigenous people
No.
of the past.
We're
India,
talking about
Pakistan, Bangladesh.
British.
we're talking
Yeah.
about India. Yeah. So there was a lot of, rich, colorful cloths and stuff people had never
Definitely.
seen. There was a stuffed elephant that had one of those kind of seats on top of it.
God.
But the centerpiece.
That animal can do math. It
It's not
remembers
good.
people.
It's not good. Oh, you were fine with the frog shaving. Just draw the line at the elephant.
Draw the line of the elephant with the seat.
I didn't even connect that. They murdered kittens to have
I know.
them at a tea
I
party.
will say the kittens having tea really dampened my mood.
It didn't even cross my mind that they were dead.
No, yeah, when you
No,
were like,
I know what you
awesome.
mean. No, I'm in and I'm against it. Yeah.
But the centerpiece of this exhibit, and the most famous exhibit of all,
Mhm.
that was really getting people, was the cursed Kohinoor diamond.
Ooh.
So let's get into it. It was one of the largest and kind of most storied, talked about diamonds in the world. It is to this day part of the British crown jewels sitting in the Tower of London.
Crazy.
Wow.
Most recently on the Queen Mother's crown, I believe.
It feels
Okay.
as though, from my perspective, maybe we should give it back.
We should
It
give
is
it back.
an extremely contentious example of colonial loot
Yes.
to this day.
Well, yeah.
As soon as
Yeah.
the Queen died, there were like tons of, calls from India and
Give
places
us
to be
back
like,
our
give us back
fucking
the Kohinoor
diamond."
Please
diamond.
give us back the
At the
diamond.
Tower of London, they had to install a moving walkway because there would just be crowds of people like from South Asia just screaming like thief and stuff at the diamond.
At the diamond.
Yeah, or in the vicinity
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's bad. That's like you read all that stuff about how Emma Chamberlain wore to like her second Met Gala, just like stolen jewels from India, I believe, from like
Yeah.
like Indian royalty or whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She didn't. It's not her
Emma
fault. She didn't
Chamberlain?
do it on. It was
No.
Cartier set her up, but like,
Yeah. No, well,
There-
Cartier's evil.
But I'm
There
like, why the
is-
fuck does Cartier have this? Just give
Why
it
do
back.
they have
I
royal
agree,
family
but
diamonds?
there are a couple issues with giving it back. The main issue is the British don't want to do it.
But yeah, it's that James Acaster joke of being like, we're not done looking at it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to look at it more.
It calls into question much of the monarchy's ill-gotten gains
Yeah.
if they start
it
giving things
feel
back.
yes,
Yeah.
it feels as though if they start giving it back, then they got to give everything back. And what the hell do they have?
Yes.
The
No.
other issue is at least 4 different countries claim that it's theirs.
Yeah, that's rough.
So India claims it, Pakistan claims it, Afghanistan claims it, and Iran claims it for reasons that I will get into. So it wouldn't be
It's hard to
obvious
even
what to do.
Yeah.
even if
Though
you
I
do want to
agree
give it
that
back.
they shouldn't have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know where it should be, but it shouldn't be where it is.
So the alleged curse. The curse is that any man who has it, who wears it, both he and his empire will crumble.
Whoa.
Oh,
Okay.
So
okay.
that's-
And the Queen Mother was wearing it, and then her daughter gave birth to a pedophile. So,
But part of this that we'll get into later is
it doesn't affect women.
bingo.
Okay.
Bingo, bingo, bingo.
Only men.
So
I'm not of women born or whatever.
the diamond was originally
That
about
doesn't make any
the
fucking
size
sense.
of a large egg.
Wow. Okay, wait.
Holy shit.
So like a large chicken egg?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
shaped
big.
kind of like a tadpole, like it had,
Wow.
Oh.
and it was allegedly 186 carats.
Holy shit.
So the stories of its origins are somewhat suspect
Yeah.
because in 1849 it came into the possession of the British, this guy Lord Dalhousie, and he wanted to know more about it. So he had a British East India Company officer, this young guy in Delhi named Theo Metcalfe. He was like, go find all the information about its origins or whatever. And so he kind of went around to the court and like to local jewelers and asked around about it and basically wrote down every piece of gossip and rumor that he heard. and
He just
presented that.
asked a clerk.
Basically. So it was a lot of things. So it's a lot of things of like, oh, this god stole it from this lion and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's not really extremely historically rigorous necessarily. But the first solid information, and I should preface this, I'm about to take you on a whirlwind tour of a couple hundred years of South and Central Asian history. So
Okay.
strap in.
Great.
I'm ready.
So the first solid information that it was in the possession of Shah Jahan, who was the Mughal emperor of northern India in the first half of the 1600s.
Slay.
Shah Jahan, if you want some of his hit songs, the Taj Mahal,
Holy shit.
Whoa.
he built that as the tomb for his beloved wife Mumtaz, who had
Mhm.
died.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But, you know, he's still getting
If
his
you're
name
gonna
out
get
there.
it, yeah.
That's a
yeah.
pretty famous building.
Yeah.
That's very famous.
So the Mughal Empire was founded in 1526. They were from kind of Central Asia, descendants of the Mongol Empire of Genghis Khan. They swooped down into northern India, conquer it, set up this Mughal Empire. So Shah Jahan, you know, the very rich court, there were all kind of gems floating around. People came and gave the emperor gems.
Bunch of gems floating around.
If you want, you know, if you want a favor, you give them some gems or whatever.
of course.
Yeah.
So he was like, there's all these gems lying around, not really doing anything, just in the room. So he's like, oh, I'll build something that will
Hold the gems.
and kind of showcase the power and glory of my empire.
Yeah.
So he has this thing called the Peacock Throne constructed,
Awesome.
which is,
like Game of Thrones.
well, there's going to be a lot of Game of Thrones-ish stuff.
Because he stole from
A lot
all
of
that.
people, the fun games, a lot of the elements of this story were lifted to put into Game of Thrones.
Wow, okay.
Whoa.
There's a lot of pretty gory stuff to come.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay,
okay.
great.
when we're talking about a
Great.
cursed diamond. So he builds this peacock throne, which is less like a seat and more kind of like a big gazebo or whatever.
Okay.
And at the very top, there's a peacock, and the head of the peacock is the Kohinoor diamond.
Okay.
And this is kind of the first time we're like, okay, this is where it's at.
Mhm.
This is. And one other thing to note is that kind of the trends of what to do with diamonds and like the tastes for diamonds were different there than in Europe. So in Europe, they do like the brilliant cut or whatever, like they're cut so that they really sparkle, whatever. There, they're just like natural diamonds. It's like
Cool.
a big
Yeah.
rock, kind of.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
So the peacock throne gets built, and we have to remember there's a curse. So
Mhm.
things start to go wrong
I almost forgot about the
his
curse.
empire must fall.
for
Yeah.
our friend Shah Jahan.
Yeah. That's
His wife
rough.
was already dead.
That's
Yes.
so sad.
He falls very ill, and his sons all start battling for power.
Oh no. Succession.
Succession. This is like the show Succession.
Yeah,
if that
like
helps.
Succession.
For any listeners out there, picture Succession.
And actually a
picture
lot
the
of-
Roys.
A lot of elements from this story were actually lifted for Succession.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
So his son Aurangzeb kind of wins. He poisons one of his brothers.
Oh my God.
He has another brother dragged through the streets of Delhi on a dirty donkey and then murdered. He imprisons his son, his father, Shah Jahan, who's recovered a bit, but is now imprisoned.
Okay, so he's an icon and a legend. He is the moment.
Yeah.
Moment
Yes.
to the moment.
So,
Putting your dad in jail is
That's crazy.
The brother stuff is insane. But to be like, oh, well, my dad's dying, so this is what I got to do. And then he's like, I'm actually feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right, but I
No.
poisoned my
You gotta
brother
get-
and
you gotta get
dragged
in
the other
jail.
one through the streets.
you're in jail. So jumping forward a bit, Aurangzeb dies and the Mughal Empire starts to kind of crumble.
Yeah.
And this is a huge empire. It's like all of India, Pakistan, all of Afghanistan, parts of modern day Iran. So it's a huge, very rich
Yeah.
Got it.
empire, but they're besieged on all sides. You
That's
know,
rough.
People are coming after them.
Yeah. It's got to be hard.
In comes a guy named Nader Shah from Persia, which is modern day Iran. So he's the son of a shepherd, and he joins the army, rises up, and is this like military genius or whatever, one of these guys. Apparently just like a really unfunny kind of military guy.
Yeah.
Not cracking jokes.
He's not funny, so we don't respect him.
Yes. He's not even funny.
So what's the point of being alive?
I know.
Literally not even silly.
So basically he does rises up in the army and does a military coup and kind
Yeah.
of takes over
Mhm.
there. And his big innovation is this kind of swivel gun, which is like a big gun that you put on a horse, kind of like the tanks.
I've seen these.
1700s.
I've seen these guns.
That's actually an awesome invention.
So, as you might imagine, armies at the time were probably ill-equipped to deal with
With
this.
a horse
for
with a
sure.
giant gun on its back.
You gotta have an awesome brain to be like, I love horse. I love gun.
Yeah.
What if
gun was on a horse?
Everyone's like, military genius. This guy is a military genius.
Military genius. Gotta respect it.
So he needs money for all of his wars and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh, I'll go ransack the richest area around here, the Mughals in India. And yeah, his army just completely destroys the bigger Mughal army or whatever. And so he invites the Mughal emperor, who's now this guy named Muhammad Shah Rangila, who's like a lover of the finer things in life.
Okay.
He likes juggling and dancing and music and stuff like this.
He likes juggling.
He loves juggling.
He loves
dancing.
juggling.
He loves
He's one of these juggling
He's one
guys.
of
Yeah,
these
he
juggling
loves.
people.
Imagine how much you think a normal amount it is to love juggling.
And then
Yeah.
just 100 quadruplify it.
It's not even close.
No, it's not even
No.
close. Not even close.
He subscribes to r/juggling.
Yes, absolutely. He's a mod. He's a mod.
He's a mod. He's a mod. So Nader Shah invites him to have dinner with him in his camp or whatever.
Mhm.
And Rangila's like, oh yeah, okay. Brings all his jugglers, his musicians and everything to dinner. Immediately he gets captured.
It's the guy who put a gun on a horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, oh fuck, I gotta show somebody these jugglers.
Somebody wants to see my jugglers?
Yeah.
You gotta see it.
So basically, with the Emperor Rangila in tow, they then sack Delhi,
Yeah.
completely, do atrocities and all things, and then leave with 10,000 wagons of gold and gems.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
They had a lot of gems,
Yeah.
including the Peacock Throne.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Kohinoor is on the move.
Okay.
They take it to set up court in Herat, which is in modern-day Afghanistan,
Okay.
near the border with Iran. This is like 1740s-ish.
Yeah.
So they're all set up there. He takes the Kohinoor off the top of the Peacock Throne, removes the head of the peacock, and he makes a little kind of armlet and starts wearing it on that.
Okay.
To flaunt it, a bit more
Yeah.
on the person.
It's an interesting move, but I respect it.
Yeah, you gotta give style points.
Yeah, you gotta
Even if you don't agree
you gotta
with
make
it.
a cuff.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. But of course, we have to remember, there's a curse.
Yeah,
Oh,
his
yeah,
empire
sorry.
is about to fall.
His empire falls.
So he becomes a total paranoid maniac.
Well, yeah.
He's doing stuff
Yeah.
like he's making literal like pyramids of his enemies' skulls, stuff like that.
Which you can't-
Apologies for this
you
very
can't do.
gory episode.
No, that's fine. But let's just say the Girl Historians, the podcast, does not stand by making massive pyramids of your enemy's skulls. And I think if you start doing that, that's a red flag that
Yeah.
things are about to go poorly for you.
It's hard
Yes.
to take a strong stance on an issue like a pyramid of your enemy's skulls. But I think we're taking
Nobody
it
wants to
there.
talk
We're
about
there.
it these
We're
days.
there.
No one
It's the
wants to
third
talk
rail
about
of
it.
politics.
Yeah.
No,
It's
exactly. No one
awful.
wants to touch it, but like,
No, but we're gonna be brave and say we're not in favor.
So
No.
there's an assassination attempt on Nader Shah,
Mhm.
and he blames his son. So he orders his son blinded and to have his eyeballs removed and brought to him on a platter.
and everyone's like, "Are you sure?"
yeah. I made up my mind.
Blinded is crazy.
Yeah, we don't want to sleep on it a bit.
No.
You want your son blinded, and not only that,
Full eyeball.
Full eyeball out, brought on the platter.
On
Yes.
platter. Eyeball on platter, please.
You'll be sad to no, it turns out it wasn't the son.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no way.
And when Nader Shah saw his son's eyeballs on the platter, he started to cry. He said, "What have I done?"
Well, yeah. That's what triggered you. That's when it felt real. To
yeah,
you?
that's when it hurt.
But because he's become this maniac or whatever, understandably, people are trying to kill him. So
Yeah.
in the nighttime, he gets assassinated by his cousins.
Jesus Christ.
Well, they knew their eyeballs were next,
Sure. But then there's a night of total mayhem pandemonium because
like in Squid Games.
because the army finds out about this and they all rush to get jewels and stuff. They all start hacking at the Peacock Throne with their swords and stuff and like cutting each other
Oh my
down
god.
to try to get gems.
Okay.
Greed
Okay.
is-
love gems.
Yeah.
If you've got gems in this time, you're made.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know this, but money can be exchanged for goods and services. So like gems can be exchanged for like jugglers.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but the Kohinoor is not there.
Oh, it's on his armband.
Well, his widow has it, and she goes to to Nader Shah's main bodyguard, who's this guy named Ahmed Khan Durrani. A lot of names you don't really have to if this helps you to keep track of it or whatever. So she goes to Ahmed Khan Durrani, the bodyguard, and she's like, I'll give you the Kohinoor if you get me safely out of here.
Wow.
So he's like,
Slay,
amazing
mama.
deal. Let's do it.
amazing deal. Yeah.
This is one of the biggest rocks I've seen.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they ride off to Kandahar, which is in southeast Afghanistan. And true heads might remember, because that's where the Canadian Army spent all their time in the Afghanistan War.
Oh my God.
Shout out.
Yes. I love that war. It was so worth it.
So
That
on
war
their way to Kandahar, they have the good fortune of running into a caravan going the other way that is the whole army's yearly salary.
Hey. Fortune favors the bold.
So they're like, I've got the Kohinoor, I've got all this money, we can really do something with this.
Yeah.
So in Kandahar, Ahmed Khan Durrani founds the nation of Afghanistan for the first time.
Oh, wow.
It had been a part of different empires and stuff. He founds the nation of Afghanistan. He starts calling himself Ahmed Shah Durrani, because
Okay.
Shah is like king
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Sure.
And, you know, things are looking good.
Yeah.
But there's a curse.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
well, of
not to the
course.
widow. The
No.
widow doesn't have the diamond anymore. It's the guy who invented Afghanistan.
Yes.
That's too
his
bad.
face starts getting eaten by a terrible cancer.
No.
Oh,
God.
In the past,
What a terrible.
So he
as
has,
opposed to all the chill, normal cancers.
so he kind of starts covering his face, kind of like the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh my God.
Oh my god, he's like in the House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
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 But people, there's still an issue because maggots keep dropping out from under the mask.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard. That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Like, this is horrifying.
I'm sorry that I chose to bring this story.
It's so funny. It's such a wild take for you. You don't like true crime or gore or anything, but it's
No.
all in the context of history.
Yeah.
But you do love
Maggots.
yes,
Yeah, I love maggots.
and you love the politics of India, Pakistan.
Yeah.
all those things.
I do think it's a very interesting region that people
overlook and yeah.
that you know, in our kind of Eurocentric often way of studying history and thinking about history gets overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you gotta include a couple of anecdotes about maggots, so be it.
Yes. I think that's the only maggots anecdote left.
Okay, don't make promises you
Thank
can't
God.
keep.
But meanwhile, the Persians are still looking for the Kohinoor.
Okay.
They don't know what's happened.
Yes.
So one of Nader Shah's court eunuchs
Okay.
has kind of risen up. People had eunuchs in courts
And of
back in
course
these days.
he's got a eunuch.
And
around.
but he's rising up the ranks.
Yeah. He thinks that
Good that one thing's rising up.
Exactly. That's not okay.
I'm sorry.
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 I just
Are we oppressing eunuchs? I thought it was a choice.
Is it not?
I don't know
think
if it was his choice though.
Okay. Sorry. I'm
was-
sorry.
It was a
Sorry.
choice.
Anyway, he thinks
Jesus.
You're acting like we're woke. We're acting like we're fucking weird for being okay.
so he thinks one of Nader Shah's sons has the Kohinoor.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's torturing him to try to find out where it is.
Whoa. Okay.
God.
He's
Eventually,
really fucking stepping
eventually
up.
he ties him to a chair and pours molten gold on his head.
Oh, that happens in Game of Thrones.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Holy shit.
And in Game of Thrones, they would have someone who is a eunuch torturing a king's son.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that.
They've got
Yeah.
a eunuch in Game of Thrones.
So if you study history, you can write prestige drama.
This is
Well,
what
yeah,
I'm
or
saying.
you could not finish a book. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
finish the series, but you're not.
George R. R. Martin.
Looking at you, George.
Looking at you, George. Okay. Durrani of the maggoty face dies.
No
well,
way.
yes. Well, yes.
He
His
seemed
e-
like he was in such good health
Yeah.
with the maggots falling out. Of
His empire starts to fracture and crumble
Yeah.
per the curse. Around 1800-ish, his
Oh, we're getting
grandson,
close.
his grandson Shah Zaman is imprisoned by a group, put in a fortress, and he has the Kohinoor on him, and he hides it in a crack in the prison wall.
Whoa. Okay.
I know. This story's got everything.
I know.
It really has. We've been everywhere.
I know. So his brother, this guy Shah Shuja, takes power and begins to hunt for the Kohinoor, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody
As
knows
you
where
do.
Nobody knows where it is. Eventually, they find it in some far-flung off area. Some clergyman guy has it on his desk. He's been using it as a paperweight.
What? Sorry, how
likely
to go
thing
from the
for-
prison to that? That's crazy.
Somebody probably
This
figured
is
it out.
not known.
But I would assume that somebody finds it or something.
And they're like, hey, this will be good for all my papers.
Yeah, this will be good to hold my papers.
I was just down in the prison looking for something to hold down all my blowing papers.
Yeah, exactly.
I really wanted to work in the park this week. If only I had a paperweight. I could go to the park and do my paperwork.
They keep turning the big fan on in my office.
My papers are blowing everywhere.
Oh.
So the diamond is a paperweight.
Work.
This is right. Well, now it's been found by Shah Shuja.
Okay.
So he's got it. And I'll get into them in a moment, but the British East India Company is on the scene.
Okay.
Famously good guys.
Yeah.
They're chilling.
They're doing good. I hope they don't do anything evil.
Hope they don't do anything evil.
So Shah Shuja makes it kind of an alliance with the East India Company.
Okay.
But it does him no good because some other group imprisons him and he's thrown in a prison in Kashmir, which is a kind of disputed area in northern Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't have to get into it.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into where it is or who it is. Who should occupy it. It's fine.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Shah Shuja's wife, this woman named Wafa Begum, she wants to get her husband free from this prison. So she goes to see. So by this point, the big dogs on the block, the East India Company and the Sikh Empire.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this guy, Ranjit Singh.
Cool.
So she goes to see Ranjit Singh and she says, we'll give you the Kohinoor if you invade and free my husband from this prison or from this fortress. And he's like, oh, Kohinoor, how much is that worth? And here's what she says. She says, if you throw a rock up in the air as high as you can, throw a rock to the left as far as you can, throw a rock to the right as far as you can, fill that whole area with gold. That's how much the Kohinoor is worth.
Whoa. He couldn't throw for shit.
Yeah. It just kind of flops on the floor.
Yeah. He was a t-ball player. Yeah. So, this is a valuable rock. So he's like, I will do this.
Say no
that
more.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So he invades. He frees Shah Shuja. Then he's like, give me the Kohinoor. And Shah Shuja's like, oh, what? What?
La, la, la,
yeah.
la.
He's like, oh. And so Ranjit Singh brings one of Shah Shuja's sons and allegedly tortures him in front of Shah Shuja until Shah Shuja gives him the Kohinoor.
God.
It's crazy that had to happen a little bit. If somebody brought someone in front of me and was like, I'm going to torture them until you give me the diamond, I go, okay, have the diamond.
Have the diamond.
Literally have
It's
the
fine.
diamond.
Please do not do that in front of me.
I don't want to see that.
No.
This was seemingly a time where people really liked to torture one another.
Yeah.
Royals
sounds
simply,
like it.
and I don't think this should happen, but royals simply do not get tortured the same way they did in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
No one tortures in the royals anymore.
No. Well, Harry in the court of public opinion.
That's
Yes,
true.
that's
Damn.
true. The Daily Mail is doing the torturing.
Yes.
Hello Magazine.
Hello Magazine is doing the torturing.
Okay. So Ranjit Singh, the leader of the Sikh Empire, has it at his base in Lahore, which is in modern northern Pakistan.
Yeah.
If you're looking at a map, and I love maps.
And you would be, if Rhys was
you
listening to
would
this
be looking at a
episode, he will have a map open.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the East India Company. So the Mughals, they've been weakened or whatever, and the East India Company has been gobbling up territory in India. And crucially, and I don't know if this is often thought about, it is not the British government that runs India. It is this for-profit company.
No.
They've got investors, they've got stocks.
It's Disney. It's Pepsi has taken India.
Well, not even that. At the time they started taking over India, at their headquarters in London, they had 35 employees.
No! That is so bad.
It's like if a Mark's Work warehouse took over China.
Oh my God.
Their office was only 5 windows wide
That's
in London.
Running India?
So Lord Wellesley of the East India Company, who is the older brother of the Duke of Wellington, who famously beat Napoleon at Waterloo. So he captures more land in India than Napoleon conquered in Europe.
That's nuts.
That's not good.
And he does it from floor 7.
Yeah, well,
Over the phone.
In India, there are 200 British civil servants or whatever.
Yeah.
But
It's still insane.
it's still a low number of people. But the way they do this is that there's Indian bankers that are like, oh, we understand the language of capitalism or whatever. So they provided financing for them to basically buy an army.
That's crazy.
Of 200,000 people, which was twice the size of the British army at the time.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And so they would, have big battles and defeat major kingdoms, whatever. They also had this thing called the doctrine of lapse for kind of these. They had this thing called the doctrine of lapse for these smaller kingdoms and little principalities and stuff where the British passed a law that basically said that if one of these rulers died with no natural born heir, their kingdom went to the East India Company.
That's crazy.
Awesome rules. I have no nose
That's
there.
insane.
I think that's just good.
So they had basically conquered all of India except for this area of Punjab where the Sikh Empire was,
Yeah.
where Ranjit Singh is. And they were the only people that were a military match for the East India Company. They had imported a lot of Napoleonic generals.
Oh, good.
And
Wow.
stuff. So these are a weird time. There's all these weird kind of just Europeans floating around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ranjit Singh defied the curse.
Okay.
Just lived and died in 1839.
Maybe he
Okay.
was non-binary.
This is what I'm hoping.
You're-
I'm doing my own research on this, but this is heavily what I assume.
Yes.
But he's non-binary.
Yes. And this is contested, but they say on his deathbed, he was like, oh, give the Kohinoor to this temple or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
Well-
Instead, this guy, Belly Ram, who was in charge of guarding the Kohinoor, took it, hid it. He was like, it belongs to the monarchy or whatever.
Yeah.
The next leader, I'll give it to him. And the next leader was this guy, Karak Singh, his son, who nobody liked. Somebody called him an
awesome.
opium-eating blockhead.
Okay, so Blockhead.
And we've all dated one of those. And we've all dated one of those.
Blockhead has entered the vernacular in a
Yeah.
big way.
Blockhead.
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 So good.
If you get humbug, if you get blockhead, you are murked in the 1840s.
No, it does not get worse than that.
Humbug of a blockhead.
So nobody likes him. Nobles start poisoning him.
Sick.
Of course.
As you do.
He dies. So his 19-year-old son, now Nihal Singh, is set to take the throne.
Okay.
But remember, there's a curse.
Mm-hmm.
He's walking back from his father's funeral. He's walking under this stone gate where all of a sudden this giant rock falls off
No.
and lands on him.
No.
What eyewitnesses report, the guy next to him is killed. Now Nihal gets up and keeps walking home. Later that night, the court physician, this guy named Johann Martin Honigberger,
Okay.
some Austrian doctor. who lived there,
Yeah. Sure.
he was like, oh, I should go check on Now Nihal Singh because I'm the physician. I should go check
Yeah.
on him.
Almost got crushed.
He goes in. Now Nihal is dead on the bed, his head bashed in, brains on his pillow.
What?
God, I would not want to be a royal.
No, that's
I'm,
crazy.
I'm going to get bashed. My brain is going to get bashed.
Chaos ensues.
Well, yes.
As you can
Yes.
imagine.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
So there are rival claims to the throne at this point because, there's
There's no heir apparent.
now Nihal's uncle Sher Singh is elsewhere, but people are like, oh, he should support it.
Yeah.
But now Nihal's wife, Sahib Kaur, is pregnant.
Oh.
So his mother, Chan Kaur, is like, okay, we'll close the gates of the fort. And everyone in town kind of hunkered down and waited, hoping that she would give birth to a boy.
Also, isn't
Yeah.
the person who bashed his brains in the fortress?
It is unknown.
Oh my God.
So, because everyone's like, oh, if this is a boy, then the succession line is clear. And
Yeah.
this guy Sher Singh won't show up and sack the city and take the throne or
Yes.
whatever and
Yeah.
kill a bunch of people. So they wait and they wait. And she gives birth to a son, but he's stillborn.
Oh no.
So
This is
Sher
like House
Singh,
of Dragon.
so
Oh my
Sher
God.
Singh comes and sets up a siege of Lahore.
Uh-huh.
Chan Kaur, the dead king's mother, makes a deal. And she says, okay, you come, you take over the empire, just free passage for me, his widow, and
Yeah.
we'll get out of here. Set us up in some other castle somewhere. He's like, sure, fine.
Okay.
So they do that. A year later, Chan Kaur is, getting ready for bed or whatever, and her handmaids bludgeon her to death.
Jesus.
Why?
Well, so they're arrested, they get their hands cut off,
Okay.
and they admit that Sher Singh went back on his word and had her killed.
Oh.
Jeez.
So this is the tricky court politics of the time.
Oh my God.
Your hand's fucking cut off. They're
So-
just following orders.
That's a
I
nightmare.
know. So Sher Singh, he's running the Sikh Empire, and he has the Kohinoor. But we have to remember, there's a curse.
Yes. We're not forgetting that.
It's a curse.
He invites his cousins have new hunting pistols.
Great.
Jesus.
He wants to see them. He invites his cousins over to look at the new pistols. Accidentally, one goes off in his chest. Accidentally, another one goes off in his face. Accidentally, his son is butchered to pieces elsewhere in the palace at the same time.
Oh, oops.
Oh, I hate when that happens. I hate when it goes off. When I'm playing with a hunting pistol, it actually goes off in my chest. But I keep playing with them.
And then
Yeah.
one goes off of my face, and then at the same time, my son is bludgeoned to death.
So it leads some observers to think that it might not have been an accident.
that's
if you can
hearsay.
believe
For
that.
sure,
Yeah.
doesn't sound like an accident.
But this is a nasty rumor that I don't want to get
no,
into.
We would never spread that.
So as you can imagine, murder and chaos ensue.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Eventually, The dust clears. The one left standing on the throne is a 5-year-old boy named Duleep Singh.
I'm really concerned about this.
So his mother, this woman named Rani Jindal, she was the palace kennel keeper's daughter, and she had married the old king Ranjit Singh when he was very old.
Okay.
And she was like, 16 or whatever. It's not great.
Yeah, but there's a
Awesome.
5-year-old kid. There's a 5-year-old boy on the throne,
Yes.
and he's in
So
possession of the Kohinoor diamond. So I don't think it's going to turn out great.
So she kind of takes over as regent when he's a very young boy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Throughout this whole period, the East India Company has massed an army at the border.
good.
Okay.
They've got a spy network in Lahore. This is really the birth of like these big like spy networks.
Yeah.
And kind of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
kind of mystery
Ooh.
kind of spy stuff. And they want Punjab, which is great, fertile, valuable land, and they want the Kohinoor, understandable propaganda value.
Yeah.
So the East India Company says, "Oh, we'll rule the empire in Duleep Singh's name until he's of age." His mom, Rani Jindal, is like, "No,
No.
I don't.
I've seen your offices.
Yeah.
I'm not
This is bad.
impressed.
I don't want the tea company running my palace.
Yes, but Lord Dalhousie of the East India Company has Rani Jindal imprisoned, basically placed under house arrest without her son.
Why?
That's really not good. I don't think that spells.
So the East India Company has this massive army at the border. A Sikh raiding party crosses, and
Yeah.
there's this little battle.
Oh my God.
And the East India Company uses this as justification for a full-scale invasion,
Jesus.
culminating in the 1849 Second Treaty of Lahore. And there's photographs of Duleep Singh, who's this little 9-year-old boy, surrounded entirely by British army officers speaking a language he doesn't understand,
Oh my God.
making him sign away his kingdom and the
No.
Kohinoor and everything. They sent him to live with his Scottish foster parents in this other part of India. And he kind of absorbs all this trauma by deciding to be like the best little British Christian boy. He eventually kind of starts corresponding with Queen Victoria. He goes to live in Queen Victoria's
whoa.
I know him.
palace.
Not
yeah.
personally, but I yes.
I was like, I don't think you know him.
No, not personally,
But
but,
just-
I've heard the story.
Yeah, and just to jump ahead, it is sad. As an adult, he kind of realizes, he's like, oh, I was like tricked out of my kingdom or whatever. You can't make a child sign a treaty and stuff like that. So he gets really furious and he cooks up this plan to go back to India and with the help of the Russians, take back his empire or whatever. But he gets arrested partway on the journey. For the rest of his entire life, he like kind of bums around Europe. Things never work out. There's like British agents always on him, like ruining everything in his life.
Oh my God.
And he dies in a Paris hotel in poverty.
Jesus.
But back to the fun story of the diamond.
Okay.
So, the British now have...
I feel. I
feel ill.
feel insane. Just a quick little jaunt through 500 years of the most horrific things.
Well, we're now only 2 years before the exhibition.
Okay.
It's 1849.
Awesome.
1840.
New York City.
Pardon me.
Lahore.
Lahore.
Okay, so the East India Company has it. Lord Dalhousie wants to give the Kohinoor as a gift to Queen Victoria.
Okay.
He wants to be prime minister. He wants to curry favor, things like this.
And as we know from history, if you give people gems, you get a favor.
Yeah.
This is exactly right.
People
he gives
love
it to
gems.
this guy, John. Don't sing when I say this. He gives it to this guy, John Lawrence, for safekeeping.
And don't you say
Well, now that you've said it.
it's fine.
No,
So
don't sing.
a year later, everything is arranged or whatever, and it's for it to move. He goes to John Lawrence and he's like, "I need the diamond back." John Lawrence goes, "I've lost it." He had put it in his pocket of his jacket,
He's so mean.
and he ransacks his house, searches everywhere. Eventually, a servant surrounds. The servant's like, "What are you looking for?" He's like, the rock that was in my thing." He's like, "Oh, I think I put that in a drawer somewhere." The servant had put it in a drawer somewhere. They've got the Kohinoor.
This is my mother coded.
Yes.
This is what my mother does.
No, this is me every fucking 5 minutes before you arrive at the house looking for the SD card. Then every moment I go, I'm going to put it in this spot. I'm going to have a specific spot for the
Yeah.
SD card because it's so small. And then
Yeah.
every 5 minutes before you arrive, I open this drawer and I go,
Yeah.
okay, so it's not
I
that.
think you should keep your SD card in your camera.
But no.
Yeah, just no.
Just
I'm
no.
You don't get it, but
Sorry,
no.
I'll shut up.
Okay, so this is a pretty hot rock. People want it.
Yeah.
People want it. They're like, we got to get this thing out of India.
Yeah.
So Lord Dalhousie rides it down to Bombay himself to get it on a boat to England.
Awesome.
When they arrive in Bombay, there's no available boats. They have to wait for 1 year.
What?
Sorry?
The boats are off doing something else.
And we don't have time to unpack that.
And
We don't have a single boat.
also, I think they don't want it to be on a very ostentatious boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
They want like a chill.
They want like a
boat.
fast, normal boat,
Yeah.
I believe.
They can't have like a ship.
So eventually they get one. He gives it to his nephew. His nephew gets on the board. He's also got an East India Company guy going with it.
Mm-hmm.
But recall, there's a curse.
Oh,
I forgot that there was a curse.
Oh god, the ship's gonna sink.
The ship goes, horrible bout of cholera on the ship.
No.
People are getting sick. They're like, oh, we'll set in on the Indian Ocean island of Mauritius.
Okay.
Land of Mauritius. When they're approaching Mauritius, the people of Mauritius point guns at them and say, plague ship, get out of here.
And hey,
Fair
probably
enough, fair
pretty
enough,
good
fair enough.
instinct.
Sure.
Yeah.
So they limp off. They run smack dab into the middle of a massive typhoon.
Oh my god. No.
But at long last, they limp into British territorial waters. They're like, oh, Queen Victoria is going to be pumped to get this. But she's got her own difficulties. The day before, she had been out at an event and a lunatic had hit her in the head with a metal cane.
It's like the person who threw an egg at Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. So she has other things on her mind right now.
Yeah.
That's not funny, but it's really funny.
It's a little funny.
It's so
really funny.
It's a
really
metal
funny.
cane.
It's really
It's funny.
The Kohinoors reached England, and this brings us back to the Great Exhibition.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, but it's a flop.
Weird.
It's a dud. People hate it.
They hate the diamond?
Yes.
Why?
It's interesting.
It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't shine.
So it's just a rock.
It's been built up in the press or whatever. It's this big famous cursed diamond or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not to the British public's eyes, not very interesting. to
Yeah,
look
they're
at.
just sort of like
There's other gems there that sparkle. They're like, oh, these gems are nice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they try a few things. It's on a purple velvet cushion.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, let's try it on a crimson velvet cushion. They try putting mirrors around it and like gas lamps and stuff pointing at it. And then they're like, oh, it's all the diffuse light of the greenhouse.
Yeah.
It's not in a sparkle, whatever. So they build this kind of shed around it, which apparently gets so hot that a ton of people pass out while they're in it.
Wow.
It's just
Oh
a shed
my
with
God.
gas lamps. and stuff in it.
Sorry, I gotta go into the gas shed to see a diamond.
Yeah.
Yes. So at the end, it goes back to the Tower of London in disgrace. Albert's humiliated. He's like, we are fucking getting this diamond cut. Because a bunch of British jewelers have been like, we can't cut it. It's got like a sliver of like a miss or problem in it or something. And if you try to cut it, it'll shatter or something.
Okay.
So he's like, no, I'm not taking no for an answer. He goes to the Netherlands.
So that's people. You know what people said when I said I wanted to pierce my penis?
Yeah.
No.
They said not possible without infection.
I didn't listen to them.
I'm going to create a piercing that is so on my penis.
So, so this guy from the Netherlands come and they cut it. But to make it into this beautiful, brilliant diamond you see today, they have to remove basically half of it.
So it's much
God.
smaller.
Much smaller now.
Totally worth it.
What?
Yes.
You're welcome, India.
Victoria was nervous to wear it because of the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she wrote letters to all her kind of India experts. And they were like, oh, yeah, we've looked into it. And we think it's just a curse for men. You should be able to wear it.
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever."
You're good.
So she wears it. She wears it all her life. But no sitting monarch has ever worn it to this date.
Oh my god.
Wow.
The Queen Mother wore it. There was talk that Camilla was going to wear it at the coronation, but it's a pretty politically dicey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she didn't end up doing so.
Oh my god.
And it's to this day in the Tower of London.
Wow.
That is
Yes.
crazy.
What a tale.
Do you want one brief sad coda? Or
Yes.
no? Has there already been enough sad stuff?
Absolutely. Let's go.
What's one
Full
more?
send.
So this is 1851. In 1857, something happens that kind of exposes the lie behind the whole Great Exhibition that all these countries of the world are so happy for the superior civilized British to rule over them or whatever.
No.
Well, but this is kind of the propaganda on
Yeah,
which
of
this
course,
is
of
based.
course, of course.
So on the 10th of May, in the Indian city of Meerut, there's some Indian soldiers that are being court-martialed because they refused to bite the bullet. So in the rifles of the time, there was a cartridge with gunpowder. You had to bite the top off to get the gunpowder. And it was said that like the cartridge grease had beef tallow in it, which is very offensive to Hindus.
Oh,
So
yes.
they refused to do it. So they're getting court-martialed. And this is at a time when the East India Company has basically been taken over by extremely evangelical, proselytizing Christians, like forcing Christianity
Woohoo.
on India, and
You're
a whole bunch,
welcome.
and umpteen other, colonial indignities.
We don't have
that go
time
on.
to unpack
Yeah.
all of that today.
Yes. So that night, the other Indian soldiers break them out, and they go and murder all the officers, the British officers.
Okay.
Then overnight, they ride down to Delhi and kind of kill all the British people there and people that have converted to Christianity. All told, about like 6,000 British people died.
Wow.
Wow.
And Britain goes like ballistic.
Yeah.
Or whatever. All the press is like, we've got to have revenge, on these, men, women, and children, blah, blah, blah.
And I'm sure they didn't say
Yeah.
that.
They
No.
did.
No, but I feel
Oh.
like they said also maybe a slur
Maybe
or
a
two.
slur.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe a slur
yeah.
or two thrown in there.
So they've killed all these British people in Delhi.
Yeah.
Thus begins months of like this is basically the biggest colonial uprising ever.
Yeah.
And then this provokes this massive kind of period of British revenge. This months long putting down of this rebellion and just basically indiscriminate killing where they kill like 800,000
That's crazy.
Indians
not-
and cause like disease and famine and all this.
It's not good.
The
No.
scandal of all this led to the end of the East India Company. The British government then kind of took over
Mm.
India
Okay.
directly, set the stage for about another century of horrible things before they were forced to leave in 1947. But
That's so incredibly fucking late.
That's insane.
It's so incredibly fucking
1947
late in
is
history.
nuts.
I knew that,
No, I knew it was coming.
but when you hear it,
It's way worse.
yeah.
I'm like, my grandmother was 17.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to end off on a bit of a more realistic tenor of what the British Empire really
it
Yeah.
wasn't just like
meant.
throwing amazing fun fairs for Karl Marx on his fucking
Yeah.
Ferris
Yes.
wheel. They were doing horrible colonialism and horrific crimes.
So thank you for bearing with me on this
That
journey
was-
of
that was
mayhem and
amazing.
murder.
Amazing. That was
Thank you for that.
awesome.
What a romp.
That was such a ride.
It was
I
literally
really
like,
enjoyed that.
like Game of Thrones.
Very
but
Game
real.
of Thrones.
Very
Thank
Game
you,
of
Rhys.
Thrones.
Thank you.
Of course.
Do you have a Let's Make This Tragedy About Us?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yes. Let's
Yeah,
go.
okay.
Let's make this tragedy about us. My question for you is,
Okay.
through the magic of time travel, you are brought back to the 1851 exhibition and asked to make an exhibit showcasing the modern world.
Ooh.
Oh,
So this
nowadays.
can be, this. So what would you showcase? Be it art, some invention? What do you think would blow the minds of these Victorians?
Okay.
Ooh,
I'm-
this is so good.
Okay. A couple things.
Yeah.
Sour candies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just bowls of Nerds clusters and Sour Patch Kids. You pay a penny, you have one. Mind blown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a TV would be crazy.
I was going to say Avatar Way of Water.
Your Avatar Way of the Water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make them watch that and be like, I can't explain
Check it
this
out.
all to you.
No, just check it out.
Just
just
check it
check it out. I feel like I would have to bring like I had a really good one. I just left my mind. I feel like I would like put together like a piece of IKEA furniture in front of them.
Oh, yeah. That would be a game changer.
That
Yeah,
would
I
be
feel like I would
really-
just, yeah.
They'd be like,
really.
witch.
Yeah, they'd be
This
like,
fucking
witch.
Yeah. No, that would
Witch.
be cool.
Yeah. And it's also like because a woman would be doing it. They'd
Well, that's
be
what I'm
like,
saying, you're in
"What the
pants, I
fuck?
assume."
I'm in
Yeah.
pants. And it's like, they're like, we've never seen wood this bad.
Yeah.
Like,
and
what
she can
happened
just
to the
make it.
tree?
Why is she making it like that?
Was she making it? Why is she doing such a bad job? And I'm like, no, it's supposed to look like this.
Yeah. And the carpenters are like throwing up. It's like they can't fucking handle it. Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah. So I think that makes sense. We'd have an exhibit of you putting together IKEA furniture.
Mhm.
I'm kind of giving everyone a tour through different sour
Sour
candies.
candies.
Maybe Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Oh, Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Game
Oh,
changer.
Pop Rocks, dude.
Pop Rocks.
Oh, Pop Rocks. And then you're showing them all Avatar Way of Water.
Yes.
I think
Avatar Way of
that's.
the Water Rocks. I love that movie. Can I just say?
I haven't seen the first one or the second one.
I'll say it loud and proud. I loved Avatar Way of the Water.
I'm happy for you.
Speak your truth, Blair.
And I feel like everyone's mad at me.
No, we're fine. This is like after the show. We were supposed to do like a comedy show, and Blair was like, afterwards we should all go to karaoke. Torture, but everyone's like, yeah, that sounds really fun. And she was like, or not. And we were all like, we just all agreed with it. It's like, you said you love Avatar Way of the Water, and we're like, yeah, that's great. And you're like, you guys are mad.
I'm going through it, guys.
I know. It's
No, I'm
okay.
actually kind of doing fine.
Yeah, things have turned around for us.
Things have really turned around for us.
It's beautiful.
And the stars said it so. The
Yes.
stars said it so.
Hell yes.
Well,
that was fascinating.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for doing all that research and
Yeah,
for coming on the
seriously.
podcast, Rhys.
Thank you for having me. I don't know if it was really the vibe of the podcast.
It
It was
was.
great.
Okay.
It was, the good thing about girl historians is sometimes the history is really serious and sometimes it's really silly, and you can really fluctuate between the two.
Oh.
People
Okay,
died on the
hell yeah.
Titanic. People died in the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
There's
Hell
some
yeah.
really dark episodes and then some really, like, honestly, like, frivolous. So it's fun. Is there
Yeah.
anything you want to pitch, plug? Do you just want to talk about yourself for like a hot 30 seconds?
No, I would say, just to give a shout out to the Empire podcast, which I got a lot of this information from.
Mhm.
They wrote
Amazing.
the two people that did it wrote a book on the Kohinoor, and it's just a really interesting history of empire around the world.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, if you listen to this history podcast first.
Yeah, but if
Mhm.
you feel like you want a second history podcast,
Yeah.
Definitely. Equally as
a good one.
informational.
exactly
Probably
right.
just the same vibe.
Same exact vibe.
Same exact vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Everyone, as usual, you can check out our Patreon. You can check out our lives.
Our
And-
lives.
Yeah.
Check out our
Oh,
lives.
I thought you meant we're
Check out
going
our
live.
lives.
And I was like,
Oh,
when
no,
have we ever in our life gone live on
No.
Instagram?
Once. And it was epic.
Guys, we'll see you soon.
We love you.
Love you. Bye.
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 This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar!